strategies, and you know, like these two films that you brought here, they're, like you pointed out in a couple of the Q&As, they didn't have a lot of money behind them, but they really have some really great characterizations. One of the best dogs, even though he wasn't very cooperative, a bit of a diva, but one of the best dog films I've seen. What challenges have you met in terms of getting films, some of the films made, that you can talk a little bit about and share with the audience?
I mean, I've just paid for movies. I mean, really, literally. Like you oftentimes are not only not being paid, you're paying to do a movie, and particularly producing these days, where it comes down to, you know, we need a bathroom, and so can we use a high school bathroom? And they'll say no unless you give us $150, and you're paying $150. You know, so it's the reality is, independent film is always an extraordinary struggle, and particularly more these days than I think ever before. In terms of actual, I mean, I don't have, you know, specific stories other than it's just, that's just the way it is, and that's, I think sometimes the joy of it is, how do you figure this out? How do you make this work? And particularly like something like Daydream Nation, I mean, there are shots in that movie I could point out where we don't have the other side of the coverage because we ran out of film. So, and I was honestly just heartbroken during the making of that film, because I thought there's no way it can be put together, and it was put together, I think, quite beautifully too. So, but you know, it is always an astonishing struggle, even with huge people on board these days. It really doesn't matter anymore.
And with your film, you had, I'm sure, many challenges. It's such an unusual film.
Oddly enough, making it was the easy part. It was harder to get it out and get it shown. I was lucky because my wife Victoria and I opened a theater called Studio Dante, and we had two very generous patrons that became friends of ours who supported, were our biggest supporters, and they financed like 90% of the movie. So they were the first people I went to. They liked what we did at the theater, and always said, if you're going to do something else, let us know. And they, you know, I gave them the script and they wrote checks. So that was, ironically, the easy part. And then it was really hard getting it out there and get, you know, it was easy to show it in Europe, and it was, the hard part was getting it shown in America. But we finally did get a distributor. We had a theatrical run in New York, and now you can get it, you know, it's in video stores, streaming on Hulu now, so. It was weird getting them. I know a lot of other movies that I've been on, you know, were touch and go. A lot of stuff never got made because of money and fell apart, but I was fortunate there.
And did you, I mean, you're moving into doing comedy, you're getting involved with the films, and, you know, right from the start. What have you heard about, or what are you finding is helping, or has been a challenge in seeing these things, seeing this film getting a feature that's just about to come out, getting made, or it's getting completed, I believe, right?
No, it's completed. Well, I'm not a very good sort of actor in a way. Like I'm a very proactive actor, which made me realize, oh God, I'm gonna have to produce things now too, you know, because it's weird. As an actor, you can often feel so disempowered because you're sort of hoping for the role that you have in your mind, and sometimes it doesn't come ever, you know, and sometimes you're lucky enough that it comes across your desk, and then maybe that doesn't get made, and maybe it's in the hands of other people, and so there was just this kind of light bulb that went off where I thought, oh, I'm gonna go find it, and I'll do it, and I'll start generating things that I want to be a part of. And so this last couple of years has been one of a lot of energy on my part in producing. There's a project, I optioned the rights to a book a few years ago called Lost Girls in Love Hotels, and hired the screenwriter and got development money, and now we're at the stage of getting the financing for production. And there's another project I have that I'm producing as well, that we're putting together now. So I'm well aware of the intense, hard, difficult labor of making independent film, but it's such a wonderful, wonderful birth. You know, I mean, it really is. It's hard. God, it's so hard, but it's so wonderful, and I wouldn't. It's where I've been most happy, to be honest. You know, and you just see something kind of coming to life that you've only dreamed about. So it's difficult, but it's really wonderful as well.
Well, I'm sure I could go on and they could go on, and I'm sure you guys would love to hear everybody, but I suspect that we're going to have to screen a film here tonight, so I want to ask you guys one last question. Is there someone or well, you've mentioned a couple of projects there, but there's still people you want to work with, a director you want to work with, or a writer, or people that you'd like to have in a film you're making? Can you talk a little bit about some of those goals that...
Paul Thomas Anderson and David Fincher for me. I mean, for me it's really simple. I want to have a director who tears me apart. I haven't had that yet. I think that would be an incredibly interesting experience. And those guys, from what I understand, that's what they do, and they do it with creative passion. It's not to tear you apart because they are trying to break you down. It's because they have a level of brilliance and expertise in their mind of what their story they're telling is. And I don't, to me, if you are Paul Thomas Anderson and have the ability to take an actor like Daniel Day-Lewis and even go hard at him, as brilliant as he is, or do what I think Fincher did with The Social Network, that's just art, to me. So
I'd love to work with Emir Kusturica. I think he's done what he's put on film are some things that are just out of this world, and I would love to work with him. I think he's fascinating.
And you make your own music as well, right? So he makes his own music. You can jam. You guys can do it.
I think he's actually quit directing to just do music. He's got a big band he tours all over.
Yeah, maybe you could join the band. He'll put the word out here, so he'll do little pickup work.
Hopefully he'll make more movies. If you haven't seen
Costa Rica, yeah, Underground in particular is
Time of the Gypsies.
There's so many people I want to work with, but I'd love to work with Sam Mendes. I'd love to work with Cary Fukunaga. I think he's an up-and-coming talent that is just going to be one to watch for sure. And he's, yeah.
Jane Eyre, right?
Jane Eyre, and yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And Sin Nombre. Yeah.
And Sin Nombre is wonderful film.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't see anybody giving me a get off the stage sign, but I feel that they're probably feeling like they want to get off the stage. So I don't want to burn them out. So anyhow, wanted to thank everybody here. Yeah. Thank you all very much.
Really have to go to the bathroom. We do have a screening tonight that we're going to be starting very shortly. And but before we go, I was just hoping maybe I get everybody to kind of move to the center of the room. I just want to remember this night forever. Oh, that's good. Thank you so much. The important people are behind me.
I'm just doing advertising, but oddly I have one of these films. I got about a year and a half or a year ago, right when it came out. It's the most amazing camera I've ever had.
Enough said. So we're going to start